Hi VBS crew, my name is Gina McKean and I will be your site manager today. We're going to be using our preschool rotation pack, and today we're going to be specifically talking about preschool crafts and missions. So one of the things I wanted to start out with was making sure that we realize the importance of knowing the Bible story, the foundation that's going to be focused on each day, and the point of the day. It's imperative that all of us that are working with our preschoolers know that information so that as the boys and girls come into our classes, that they will hear the Bible story again in a different type of way from what they've heard in Bible study. So as we look through our resources, today we're going to use our preschool guide for crafts, and crafts is known as bulldozer crafts. And so as we think about the way we're going to decorate our room, we want to make sure that items that we use are things that are going to be maybe hung from the ceiling or on the wall. We don't want to put things out that are going to encourage a preschooler to reach out and ride on a particular toy or to want to play with a particular item. And if we use those kinds of decorations, then that is not a good thing for them when we have to tell them no, they can't use that. So use decorations that make it fun and festive, but that also help the room to be clutter-free, so that when the preschoolers come in, the craft that they're going to be working on is the focus for the day. And so we're going to look through each one of the crafts. We're going to start with day one. And as we think about the items that we're going to be using, there's going to be 4 choices for each day. The first choice is going to be considered a free art, or as I like to call it, an easy art, which means that it's going to require less of the teacher's time in that particular activity, and the preschooler has the freedom to kind of use the supplies to do a particular project. Then there's going to be a Bible story related craft. And then there's going to be 2 theme-related crafts. We also are going to have access to 3 preschool-friendly craft packs. And so as we go through each of the days, we'll talk about those particular items. So we're going to start with day 1. And our Bible story for day 1 is Jesus chose Matthew. Our foundation for that day is the foundation of love. And our point for that day is Jesus chooses to love me. So let's look at those craft items. The first one is going to be a little item where we're going to put a little construction toy, and we're going to tape a crayon or maybe 2 crayons to each of these construction toys. And we're also going to have a little template that looks like a road. And so maybe you might even consider putting paper on your table and just allowing the preschooler to run their cars up and down the table, and they can see where their car's been because they've got the crayons on the back of it. You can have several of those so that they can trade out on their construction toys. That'll be a fun activity and an easy activity for boys and girls to do. The Bible story related project is a little heart, and I've put the Bible verse on this one. It says, I know that God started a good work in me and he will complete it. Philippians 1:6. Now for this particular project, they're going to use nuts and bolts and either stamp pads or some kind of paint. And I would encourage you, when you use the paint, to mix in a little bit of soap with that and put it on a sponge or paper towels where they can just tap onto that and then make whatever design they want to on this little heart. But this heart reminds us of the point of the day, which is Jesus chooses to love me. All right, the next project is a theme-related project, and it is a puppet, a construction person puppet, and these pieces are going to be included in the back of your craft book, where you can cut out those pieces for each of the preschoolers. Or if you're using kindergartners to make this project, then you can have them cut out those pieces and then color them and then glue them on their puppet. And they can use those puppets to say the Bible verse or even the point of the day. And the final project for day 1 is called a door barricade. hanger, and so you would use fun foam, or you could actually use cardstock if you wanted to. That might be easier for a preschooler to actually write on. They would use markers to put their name on there. For younger preschoolers, you might consider putting their name on their door barricade for them and then allowing them to decorate it with markers. And then we're going to use a chenille stem for the hanger portion, and we're going to tie one end on, and then we're going to allow the preschoolers to select pony beads, the different colors that they would like, and then attach the chenille stem on the opposite end when that door hanger is complete. Now this is one of the craft projects that's available in a craft pack, and so this is what the craft pack would look like. And so these are sticky back pieces that the preschooler could put on there, and again, you might need to put their name on there for them. It also comes with some stickers that they can do, as well as the twine, so that you can hang that. This particular project is $6.49 for a packet of 10, so this might be an option for your church as well. So that's day one. Moving on to day two, the first project that we would have that would be considered easy art would be using, again, just a plain piece of paper, and I've put on here the point of the day, which is Jesus loves me no matter what. Now the Bible story for this particular day is Paul listened and obeyed. And so the preschoolers are going to hear about that bright light that Paul experienced. And so we're going to use yellow and orange colors and forks, and they're going to actually dip the fork in the paint and then put it around on their paper to kind of talk about that Bible story again, about the bright light and how that must have looked to Paul. This is the easy art, but I would encourage you to have a teacher over there with them, because they're going to need wet wipes and things accessible to them as well. The Bible story related project is taking a piece of paper, and you can use a full sheet and then fold it in half. And you would have the preschoolers use markers to color on and just fill up the entire side. And then on the other side, they're going to draw a picture of themselves. And then on this particular project, it requires a dark room and a flashlight. So you would use the flashlight to shine on the back side and help them to see themselves coming through all of those other lights. So this would be a Bible story related craft, and I think that they would enjoy this one as well. Another theme related craft for day two is a tool belt, and a tool belt could be made out of you could use cardstock where you could tape the pieces together, or you could use poster board and cut it in the longest length possible, and you might consider laminating that poster board as well before you cut it, and then give each child their tool belt and then some tool pieces. These are also going to be available in your craft book, where you can have the preschoolers cut those out themselves, or you could pre-cut those and allow them to cut them out, and then using tape, like shipping tape, to attach it to their tool belt. And the same thing with the tool belt closure. If it's laminated and you use a piece of shipping tape, then that allows you to open and close it several times. Or if you wanted to use Velcro dots also on that piece. So, but that's going to be a fun piece that those boys and girls are going to enjoy doing. The final project is the tool belt surprise, and that's where you would give each child a tool belt as they come in your room, and inside that tool belt is going to be art supplies. So they'll be excited to reach down in there and see what kind of art supplies are included. You could do markers, colored pencils, crayons, and then there's going to be a little construction guide. Now this little guy's already been colored, but you would allow the preschoolers to use the supplies in their tool belt to color that, and it's so fun for them to reach in their tool belt and pull out each of the different supplies. So that's going to be a fun thing for them to do. So that's another theme related project. That is day two. As we look to day three, the first project that they would do again with the free art or easy art would be a piece of paper that would have some words written on them. Well, let's look and see what that Bible story is for this particular day. The Bible story is Jesus prayed in the garden, and it's on a foundation of worth, and Jesus has a plan for me. Well, we're going to be talking about Jesus praying, and so we want to help the kids to understand that there are words that they can use, like I praise you, and I thank you, and I love you. Those are words that preschoolers can pray as they talk to God. And so we would provide for them cars and paint, and they would roll the cars in the paint and then roll them across their paper and just make all kinds of designs. We would also, even though this again is the easy art, we would need a teacher on hand to help them with that paint and with wet wipes. But it's going to be a project that those kids are going to enjoy very much. This one is going to be the Bible story related one, and this is a prayer pillowcase. And so we're going to let preschoolers use fabric markers to write their names on there. They can write other things on here as well, plus they can draw pictures of their family and things that they're thankful for. And so this would be something that once the preschoolers have finished with the markers, then we would put it either in the dryer, all of them in the dryer, and let the heat set the markers, or somebody might have an iron on hand too that would set it. So this is going to be something though that preschoolers are going to love doing and then love to take home and utilize. And so that is the Bible story related craft project. This one is going to be a theme related one, and this is making a toolbox out of a file folder. And so we would pre-cut that for each of the preschoolers and use a little bit of duct tape to seal it up. And it's our prayer toolbox, so we can talk about putting prayers inside of there, but then we would also have some other tools inside, some things that we can cut out for the preschoolers so that they can color and then put in their toolbox. That'll be a fun thing for them to carry around and to utilize at home as well. And finally, on day 3, we have our little safety vest. And this is going to be a little t-shirt that we're going to cut the sleeves out, and we're going to just cut right up the middle. And then we're going to use a little bit of duct tape to create that safety look for the preschoolers. Now this is something that we need to do ahead of time and have ready for the preschoolers. And then they can use, again, fabric markers or just regular markers to draw on here, to draw a little bit on there, and then maybe even include some stickers that they can put on the duct tape. This might be a project, as we talked earlier about looking through the projects ahead of time, this might be a project you might want to do on day 1, because I can see preschoolers enjoying wearing this all week long to Vacation Bible School. So that's a theme-related craft. On day 4, we have a little project that preschoolers are going to very much enjoy. It's putting up a piece of butcher paper. Really, you could use whatever color you wanted, and we put the point of the day, which is Jesus will always be with me. And let's look at that Bible story too, right quick. Bible story for day 4 is Jesus keeps his promises, or Jesus made a promise. And the foundation for that particular day is the foundation of promise, and Jesus will always be with me. And so as we think about that, we're going to encourage the preschoolers to build a neighborhood, to work together. And we've got little sticky back notes that they can use to stick on there, and there are various sizes, so they can make houses or office buildings or whatever they would like to build working together. And then we had some stickers, some flowers and butterflies and birds, and it's just a fun thing for preschoolers to get to build together as they work together, and to remind them that Jesus is with us, whether we're at church or at home or wherever we go. The Bible story related project is also a craft pack project, and this is a Jesus Loves Me project. And so in the craft pack, you're going to get a piece of fun foam, you're going to get the little reflection material right here, and then you're going to get some little stickers that the preschoolers can use to decorate their frame. For our younger preschoolers, we would probably want to pre-print Jesus will always love, and then when they look in the frame or in the mirror, they're going to see Jesus will always love me. And so if we're going to let our kindergartners also write that, then we're going to have to help them know how much space they're going to have to be able to write in that area. So that the reflection piece will fit on there properly. But I think preschoolers are going to enjoy this. And again, this is one of those craft packs, and it has a pack of 10, and the price is going to be $5.99. So that's going to be a fun thing for them. You can also consider putting a magnet on the back of it so that they could put it on the refrigerator or someplace else at home. A theme-related project is giving preschoolers pieces of wood, which would be these little craft sticks, and we gave them 8 pieces, so that they actually 7 pieces of craft sticks, and so we would tape them together on the back side so that the preschoolers could draw a design on the front side, and then when they finished their project, we would remove the tape and we would allow them to take the pieces, mix them up, and then to recreate their puzzle. We would also provide a little baggie for them to be able to take their puzzle home. But that's something that they're going to enjoy. Another option that we might consider is putting the Bible verse on here for the preschooler as well, whether in a sticker format or writing it on there for them. But that'll be something that they will enjoy doing at home. The last project for day 4 is sandpaper art. And so it's going to be doing a piece where they're going to use crayons, and we're going to encourage them to write very hard with it so that the crayon actually shows up on the sandpaper. But then there's a second part to this project as well. You would get a piece of fabric, and you would have a teacher that would have an iron, and they would take the sandpaper and press it down and melt the crayon into the piece of fabric. Now that takes a lot of time, and what we discovered was our preschoolers enjoyed this aspect of the craft. They just enjoyed writing on the sandpaper, and if we had to hurry them along, we didn't have time to do both parts of that craft in one day. So that's something to consider. Finally, on day 5, let's look at our Bible story for that particular day. It's the house on the rock. And the foundation is the foundation for life. And our point for the day is Jesus helps me to know how to live. So for our free art, or our easy art, we would have, again, some paper, and I've went ahead and I've put the point of the day on there, that Jesus helps me know how to live. And so we had pieces of fun foam that were cut up into various shapes and sizes, and then preschoolers could take that and make a house, or they could build whatever they wanted to. We had markers also available so that they could make a yard and the sky and the sun, whatever they would like to make, because it's the free art or the easy art, so it's something that they can use. You might consider using foam pieces that have a sticky back to them, or if you're going to just use regular fun foam, because sometimes it's hard to get those little sticky backs off of there, we might just let them use glue sticks or wet glue and provide some small popsicle sticks for them to add the glue to it. So this is a fun project for them to do on their own. The Bible story related project is also another one of the craft packs, and this is the Wise Builder's photo frame. And so this comes in a packet of 10, also for $5.99, and it comes with a little magnet piece on the back. But preschoolers are going to put these pieces together, so they have strips that you peel off, and it actually sticks all on there. So pretty much everybody's is going to look a lot alike, but if you took the preschooler's picture and mounted it in their frame for them, that would be a fun thing for them. Or if you wanted to consider letting them draw a picture of them and their family, and they could mount it on the back side of their frame. Younger preschoolers, it'd probably be a good thing if we went ahead and put their name on there for them, and then also wrote on there, Jesus is my foundation. And so this would be a reminder of what they learned during Vacation Bible School. Another one of the theme related, or even Bible related, because we talk about a rock, a strong foundation, allowing each preschooler to choose a rock and to paint that rock, just to enjoy using all different colors. And helping them to understand that God is our foundation. He's what is so strong and helps us to do what is right. Finally, we have a little paper bag house, and we would give each preschooler one of the little bags. We would cut off the top so that it looks like a rooftop, and then there are some pieces that are included in your craft book that already look like a door and some windows. You could give that piece to the preschoolers where they could cut out those pieces, or you could have your helpers cut those out ahead of time and give those to the preschoolers so that they can color those and then use glue to put them on their little houses. And then it would be fun to open up the little houses and put them side by side and let the preschoolers build their neighborhood. So those are the craft projects for the week. And so I would encourage you to look at the entire week, all of the craft projects, because there might be 1 or 2 days where there's multiples that you would actually like to do. So think about what would work best for your preschoolers, choose accordingly, but also have a backup plan, because we know that some of our kids move very quickly through those projects. And so we don't want to have some downtime. We want to keep them engaged, so offering up some choices for them when they've completed the project. And one of those choices might be using the coloring pages that are included in the back of our book. And so allowing them to have that time to color that, or even consider taking all of the coloring pages and stapling them together and utilizing those as a memory book, and include the Bible story for that as well, so that they have something to take home that reminds them each day of what they've talked about in Bible story time, in craft time, and wherever else they've been in Vacation Bible School. We want them to remember those Bible stories. We want them to remember those Bible truths and the point of the day. So use your book. There's lots of material in it that will help you. Share the materials with your Bible study teachers and with other people that are going to be working with your preschoolers before VBS begins and after VBS is over throughout the day, so that they can use some of those resources, because there's a lot of things that will help preschoolers understand that just how much Jesus loves them. And as your site manager, let me remind you how important it is that the crafts that these preschoolers do, they actually do themselves. Sometimes we think that things need to look perfect according to our preferences, but what I would love to encourage you to think about is when a preschooler has finished their project, it is perfect in their eyes. And so a parent wants what their preschooler has done. That's what a preschooler also wants to take home. So let's remember, let the preschoolers do their own crafts. They'll enjoy it so much more and be so much more proud of it. And so now we're ready to move on to our next site. Welcome to Preschool Excavator Missions, where we're going to be digging into missions. We're going to decorate our room to look like an excavator's digging into things. So one of the things that we have is this large commercial dustpan that you can just set up in an area that looks like it's the bucket coming off of the excavator, and then you can put some rubble around it. Using the majority of your floor space for your preschool is vitally important, so we want to put our decorations either coming from the ceiling or on the wall, and just use a very small portion of our floor space for other decorations. We could crumple up some paper and put it in there, and some other debris to make it fun for the kids. Now you're going to need your leader guide, your missions leader guide, and in this guide it includes everything that you're going to need to be able to teach your preschoolers about our missionaries. Right inside the cover is the DVD. Now, if you choose not to use the DVD, you can actually download the videos, and there's an access code on page 2 of your booklet. So you can go there, download all the videos, and show it off your tablet, or however you choose to do it. Also, I want to encourage you to look at a day at a glance, so that you can see the Bible story for each day, you can see the point of each day, and the foundation for each day. And then it's also going to talk to you a little bit about the activities that are going to be available. You see, every day in missions, we're going to be learning about the missionaries, learning about the work that they're doing. We're going to have maybe an activity that would also enhance their learning about that missionary, as well as maybe a craft. So talking about those particular crafts, if your mission time doesn't allow you enough time to do the craft, you might work with your craft leader and show them some of these activities that they might want to utilize during craft time, so that you're working together, guiding these preschoolers, helping them to learn about Jesus and to learn about our missionaries. So when we think about our missionaries that we're going to be learning about, we're going to have about 25 minutes. And so that's going to include your story time for the missionary and these other activities. Our missionary that we're going to learn about the first 2 days is from the North American Mission Board, and it is Jorge Santiago. And Jorge and his family serve in Puerto Rico. And we're going to learn more about Jorge. We've had Jorge before, and we learned about how he and his family helped people after Hurricane Maria, and how they brought in the washing machines and helped people to have clean clothing and those kinds of things. Well, now we're also going to have the opportunity to help boys and girls learn about how Jorge is bringing in teams of people to help rebuild Puerto Rico. So that leads us to our mission project too, that boys and girls will have an opportunity to participate in. Again, something that you can use your excavator bucket for to collect those items. It's called hands-on. And so what we would encourage preschoolers and their families to do is to bring different types of gloves. We have just some latex gloves, some food serving gloves, some rubber gloves, some work gloves, all kinds of gloves that we will be able to distribute to the disaster relief teams that are serving in various areas. Our disaster relief team does work with people serving food, or they work with mud outs, or they work in constructions. They have a lot of need for different types of gloves, and so our preschoolers can help with that. So there's going to be ways that we can help our preschoolers and their families to know. One of them is this little hand cutout that helps them to know hands-on missions. And it says, learn about missions, pray for missionaries, get involved in missions, give to missions, and encourage missionaries. So this would be one of the little art projects that the preschoolers could do to help them to understand how they can be on mission as a preschooler. Also in your booklet is going to be a letter that you can copy and send out to your families to help them to understand about the project that we're working on together to support our missionaries. And then there's a couple of the art projects. This one is Ocean in a Bottle. Every preschooler is going to enjoy making this little thing with baby oil, food coloring, and water. And they can also construct a puppet. And so you would use the little paper towel tubes. You can cut those down. And then you can copy this little guy. He's in your booklet. And preschoolers can color it and then put their puppet on here, and they can make a construction worker and talk about how construction workers are helping in Puerto Rico. Another one of the little fun activities involves a matching game, a memory game. And so this is available in the booklet as well, where you can copy it onto cardstock, or you can mount it onto a colored cardstock and make it a little more fun, and then cut those pieces apart. And so there's a hammer, and there's a washing machine to help us to remember about how they have the clean water. There's bottles of water, just all kinds of things that we can be praying for Jorge and his family and the way that they are helping people in Puerto Rico. Our second missionary that we'll be learning about is from the International Mission Board, and it is the Worthy family. And the Worthy family serves in Italy, and some of the things that they do include Vacation Bible School, sports camps. They do fellowships just to where they can get to know people, and of course it's building relationships, which is key for our missionaries, because our missionaries can't just walk up to somebody and start telling them about Jesus. They have to build a relationship with individuals, get to know those people, and then they can begin to share about Jesus. People are more apt to listen if they have built a relationship with you. They're willing to listen to what you have to say. You've built a trust with them, and that's what our missionaries are doing. Not only our international missionaries, but also our North American Mission Board missionaries are doing that same type of thing. We have some activities that our preschoolers can do. One of them is making a placemat where it will help them to learn more about Italy, just some fun facts about Italy, helping them to understand what is involved there, some of the things that people in Italy like to eat. Another one of the activities is where they would make a little mail bag, and they would get to put their name on their mail bag. Each preschooler would do that. And then you could let them make some postcards where they would draw some of the things. Again, they could use the placemat to help them to draw their own pictures of things in Italy, and then they could write their name on those postcards, and each preschooler could put a postcard in each of their friends' little mailboxes. That would be a fun way for them to learn more about Italy and learn about building relationships and being kind to one another. We want to encourage our preschoolers to pray for each other, pray for our missionaries. Again, using this as a means to helping them to understand that they can pray for missionaries, they can learn about missions, they can do missions, they can be involved in missions in so many ways. We want preschoolers to understand that, and we want to encourage our missionaries and let them know that we're praying for them. So have fun with Excavator Missions. If you have an opportunity to do these projects, that's great. Another thing that I wanted to also let you know that is in the book, there is a story that is the exact same story that they would see on the video. So if you don't have a way to show the video, don't show it. Don't worry about it that way. Tell the story about the missionaries. Kids love hearing stories, and it can be so much more engaging when you're telling them about the missionaries and showing their pictures. And so I would encourage you to do that instead of showing the video. Kids got enough of screen time right now, so having that one-on-one with their leader would be a great opportunity to share missions, share your love and passion for missions with your preschoolers. It's contagious. They would love to be involved with missions. So have a great time in your mission.